Believe it or not, when she doesn't call or text you, it actually says a lot more than you think. Many men panic in this situation. They sit by their phones, staring at the screen, waiting for that little vibration or that notification to pop up. They overthink. They ask themselves, did I say something wrong? Did I do something that turned her off? Is she losing interest in me? And in that panic, in that desperation, they start acting in ways that destroy the attraction and the respect a woman might have felt for them in the first place. But let me tell you this, when she doesn't call or text, it's not always the end of the world. Sometimes it's a test. Sometimes it's her nature. And sometimes it's her way of showing you where you actually stand in her life. The key is how you respond, not what she does. You see, communication is never just about words. It's about energy. It's about timing. It's about consistency. If she doesn't reach out, you have to ask yourself, was she ever truly invested in the first place? Or were you carrying the relationship, doing all the calling, all the texting, while she simply responded when convenient? If you're the one always reaching out, always initiating, always making sure the connection survives, then what you have isn't mutual interest. It's a one-sided chase. And when a woman feels that she doesn't have to put in any effort, guess what happens? She loses respect. She loses curiosity. She loses that fire that makes her actually want to be part of your life. Now, I'm not saying that every time she doesn't text, she's lost interest. Let's be fair. Women are human. They get busy. They have lives. They have emotions that fluctuate just like ours do. Sometimes silence doesn't mean disinterest. It just means she's focused elsewhere. But here's the difference. If she genuinely values you, she will make the effort, even in her business. Even if it's a short message, even if it's a quick emoji, even if it's just a call to say, I'm thinking about you. Effort is never hidden. You don't need to beg for it. You don't need to demand it. It naturally flows when she actually cares. The real problem begins when you start chasing her silence with more noise. She doesn't call, and suddenly you're calling 5 times a day. She doesn't text, and now you're sending long paragraphs, questioning, explaining, apologizing for things you didn't even do. You are trying to buy her attention with desperation, and that is the fastest way to kill any attraction. Because let me tell you something powerful. Silence is not an absence of communication. Silence is communication. When she chooses not to reach out, that's her speaking to you without words. That's her saying, you are not my priority right now. And if you're a man with self-respect, with standards, with purpose, you listen to that silence. You don't try to fight it. You don't try to cover it up. You take it for what it is. Far too many men make the mistake of thinking they can convince a woman to like them more by doubling their effort when she pulls away. They believe that if they just prove how much they care, she will magically change her feelings. But relationships don't work like that. Attraction doesn't grow from pressure. It grows from space, from desire, from choice. If she doesn't call or text, the best thing you can do is match her energy. Don't get angry, don't complain, don't argue. Just pull back. Let her wonder where you went. Let her feel what it's like when you're not always available at her fingertips. Because believe it or not, sometimes silence is the most powerful reminder of value. Think about it. When you stop chasing, when you stop being predictable, she starts to notice the absence. She starts to feel that something is missing. And if she genuinely cares, she will come looking for you. But if she doesn't, if she can go days, weeks, even months without reaching out, then what are you holding on to? What are you fighting for? A woman who doesn't even think about you when you're not around is not the woman who will stand by you when life gets tough. She's not the woman who sees your worth. And the sooner you accept that, the sooner you free yourself from wasting energy on the wrong person. Now, I want you to think deeply about something. Why does her silence bother you so much? Why do you feel restless when she doesn't text? Is it really about her, or is it about you? Most men who struggle in these situations don't actually fear losing the woman. They fear losing validation. They fear the idea that maybe they're not good enough. Maybe they're not worthy of attention. Maybe they're being rejected. And instead of facing that insecurity, they try to fix it by holding on to someone who isn't giving them what they need. That's why silence is such a powerful mirror. It forces you to confront how much of your self-worth is tied to another person's attention. When you understand your value, when you truly believe in yourself, you don't panic over a missed text. You don't crumble because she didn't call. You know that your life has meaning beyond someone else's response. You know that you're busy building, growing, living. And in that energy, women notice. They respect it. They feel drawn to it. Because no woman truly wants a man who has no life of his own, no purpose of his own, no peace of his own. A man who is always available, always waiting, always needy. It might feel flattering at first, but it quickly turns into a burden. Women want to be chosen, yes, but they don't want to be your entire existence. So what do you do when she doesn't call or text? You don't sit there drowning in anxiety. You don't lose yourself in overthinking. You simply get back to your life. You focus on your mission. You focus on your health, your work, your goals, your peace. You keep moving. And when she finally does reach out, you don't explode with anger. You don't beg for answers. You respond calmly, naturally, without bitterness. Because the truth is, your energy should always communicate one simple message. I am not waiting on you. I am moving forward with or without you. That is confidence. That is strength. That is the kind of energy that makes people respect you. And let me be very clear. There's a difference between patience and foolishness. Patience means giving her space, not overreacting, understanding that people have their moments. Foolishness means ignoring patterns, tolerating disrespect, and holding on to someone who clearly doesn't value you. If she consistently goes silent, if she never initiates, if she disappears for long stretches and comes back only when it's convenient for her, then you're not in a relationship, you're in a cycle of emotional neglect. And the longer you stay in it, the more it destroys your confidence, your peace, and your growth. The moment you stop rewarding silence with attention, the moment you stop chasing someone who isn't chasing you, your whole perspective changes. You start to see who really belongs in your life and who doesn't. You start to notice the people who do call, who do text, who do show up without you having to beg. And those are the people you should be giving your energy to. Not the ones who keep you waiting, doubting, and begging for scraps of attention. So believe it or not, when she doesn't call or text, she's giving you a gift. She's showing you the truth. She's showing you her priorities. She's showing you how much or how little you mean to her. And once you see that truth, you have a choice. You can either keep chasing her and lose yourself, or you can choose yourself and walk away with dignity. The choice is yours. But always remember, your time, your energy, your love are valuable. Don't waste them on someone who can't even send a simple message, because in the end, silence speaks. It tells you everything you need to know. And the sooner you learn to listen, the stronger you'll become, the wiser your choices will be, and the closer you'll get to finding the person who truly sees your worth. The echo of memories is something that follows us through life, whether we realize it or not. It lingers in the corners of our minds, sometimes whispering softly, other times shouting so loudly that it feels impossible to ignore. Every person has moments that shape them, moments that define them, and moments that they wish they could erase. But the truth is, memories do not disappear, they echo. They return again and again, not always in the same form, but in ways that remind us of who we were, who we are, and sometimes who we are meant to become. Think about it. How many times have you been sitting quietly when suddenly a smell, a sound, or even the way sunlight hits a window takes you back years into the past? It could be the faint aroma of fresh bread that transports you to your grandmother's kitchen, the sound of laughter that reminds you of a friend you no longer speak to, or a song that plays on the radio, and suddenly you are back in that moment, heart pounding, tears forming, or smiling so wide you forget it's only a memory. That is the echo of memories at work, silently weaving your past into your present. Memories are not just records of what has happened, they are emotional fingerprints. They shape how we see the world and how we respond to it. A memory of kindness can inspire us to be kinder. A memory of betrayal can make us cautious. A memory of loss can either break us or push us to cherish what remains. What is powerful about these echoes is that they are not neutral. They carry emotions, weight, and sometimes lessons that we did not notice at the time. The echo of a joyful childhood can give someone hope even in the darkest hours, while the echo of pain can make someone build walls around themselves, guarding their heart fiercely against anyone who dares to get too close. But here's the complexity: memories are not perfect. They are fragments shaped and reshaped by time. We often do not remember events as they happened. We remember them as we felt them. Two people can live through the same moment and recall completely different stories years later. That's why some echoes bring comfort, while others bring conflict. Imagine a child who grew up in a home filled with love, laughter, and encouragement. The echo of those memories will carry forward, giving them resilience and warmth throughout their life. Now imagine another child who grew up in an environment of criticism, neglect, or abuse. The echo of those memories will follow too, shaping fears, doubts, and insecurities that may take years, even decades, to overcome. And yet, there is something profoundly human in these echoes. They remind us that we are not machines, that we do not simply move forward forgetting everything behind us. Instead, we are layered beings, carrying with us pieces of every experience we've had. The way you smile today might carry the echo of someone who once told you your smile could light up a room. The way you hesitate before trusting someone might carry the echo of the first time trust was broken. The way you find courage to keep moving when life feels impossible might carry the echo of a lesson your parents taught you, or a moment when you overcame something you thought would destroy you. There's beauty in that. There's pain in that. But above all, there's truth in that. Memories are not meant to hold us hostage, though sometimes it feels like they do. They are meant to remind us that we have lived, that we have felt, that we have survived. Every memory, good or bad, is proof of existence. Proof that we have walked through chapters that built us into the person we are today. The echo of memories is, in many ways, the sound of our own story being told back to us again and again in new ways. What we must learn is how to listen. Too often, people try to silence their memories, especially the painful ones. They drown them in distractions, they bury them under work, they hide them behind smiles. But memories do not die just because we ignore them. They wait. They echo in dreams, in sudden triggers, in unexplained emotions. And the more we run from them, the louder they echo. The secret, then, is not to silence them, but to face them, to acknowledge them, to sit with them long enough to understand what they are trying to teach us. Because every echo has a lesson, whether it is to heal, to forgive, to let go, or to hold on to what truly matters. The echo of memories can also be a guide. Have you ever noticed how some memories keep returning to you over and over again, as if they refuse to be forgotten? Those are the ones worth paying attention to. They might be pointing you toward unfinished business, unresolved emotions, or unfulfilled dreams. Perhaps you keep remembering a time when you were happiest, not because you are supposed to stay in the past, but because that echo is reminding you of what truly brings you joy and nudging you to seek it again. Perhaps a painful memory keeps resurfacing, not to torment you, but to push you toward closure, healing, or growth. Memories in their own way are like echoes in a canyon. You shout something, and it comes back to you, sometimes distorted, sometimes softer, sometimes stronger. Life is the same. You live through moments, and those moments return, echoing in your heart and mind long after the actual sound has faded. What you do with those echoes is what defines you. You can let them haunt you, or you can let them teach you. You can let them weigh you down, or you can let them push you forward. And here is where choice becomes powerful. You cannot control which memories form. You cannot erase what has already happened. But you can control how you interpret those echoes. You can decide to see them as burdens or as lessons. You can choose to let them make you bitter or better. You can decide whether the echo of pain will chain you to the past, or whether